Hey Siri, who killed Jeffrey Epstein?
The Clinton self-destruct mode.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Big development in the Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself case. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's pretty much right-hand man, longtime friend, ex-girlfriend, pretty much partner in crime, just got arrested this morning. And this is a big deal because Epstein was getting ready to testify before he was suicided by the Clintons. So Maxwell essentially is like the right-hand man for Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, she was basically running this underage sexual assault pyramid scheme where they would go out and recruit even more underage girls to bring in. So it's just a big deal that she's now being arrested and potentially is going to be bringing some information forward. And I just want to be the first one to say, rest in peace, Ghislaine Maxwell. Clintons are definitely going to get you. And I mean, unfortunately, if Maxwell does decide to testify and release some information that she definitely has, she's going to be the next one in the Clinton body pool, for sure. First off, there's like 50 first-hand account deaths that are directly related to the Clintons, and that's not even including the people who had the second-hand relationships to the Clintons, meaning that they were people who were related or had a relationship in some way to the people who were killed. So everybody knows Epstein was going to testify, and he was going to bring down a lot of big names out there. People like, obviously, Bill Clinton, allegedly Donald Trump. It's unconfirmed, but him and Donald Trump did have a long history where they went back together. They were neighbors in Palm Beach. Les Wexner, Prince Andrew, Tom Hanks, Woody Allen, multiple high-up political leaders all across the country, actually really all over the world. Doesn't necessarily mean that they did anything wrong on the island, but it does raise some concerns, and you got to raise your eyebrows to it because they were there. So old Billy Boy Clinton had his frequent flyers card on Epstein's private jet and was seen multiple times. It's recorded on flight records multiple times of him going to the island. So the idea here is that Epstein had a ton of dirt on Bill Clinton, and when he bring all of this craziness to light, he just miraculously commits suicide. Which everybody knows that there's no chance in hell that that's what happened. That's not the whole truth. Aside from like the news and everything, everybody's already heard on the thing. Like it wasn't possible for that one neck bone and everything to break and this and that and the security cameras going down. I did my own first-hand research on this back when this was new and developing. So I want to say it was about 2 hours before Epstein was publicly announced dead. There was a leak on the website 4chan where somebody came out saying, and I'm going to pop it up right here, a picture of it, and I don't have it in front of me, but it said something along the lines of, don't ask me how I know this, but Jeffrey Epstein just died or just committed suicide or something like that. So when you see that post, it makes you wonder, like, first off, how does somebody know that before it's publicly announced? And second off, who's the person that's posting this? Now, Epstein was killed in, I want to say it was upstate New York, and this is something that I researched firsthand. It's not reading an article or anything like that. But when you actually go into the source code of the page, you can pull the IP address of the person that actually posted that post on the website 4chan. And what's crazy is that the person that posted this, posted it from an IP address over by San Diego. So if Epstein died in upstate New York, how does somebody in San Diego know about it and is posting about it 2 hours before it's publicly announced? That's a big thing right there that I feel like nobody's even paying attention to, or maybe nobody even knows about. So how all this relates back to the Clintons is they've had a long list of body counts. You got Vince Foster back in the early 90s, died, ruled a suicide with a gunshot wound to the head. He was the head of the Deputy White House Counsel. Seth Rich, he was shot in what appeared to be, the cops said, an attempted robbery. He was a National Committee staffer. He was a big force behind the leaked emails that put a big bad name on Hillary Clinton during the election in 2016. You got Ron Brown. He was a Secretary of Commerce and former DNC chairman. Died in a plane crash. And that's crazy too. I'll bring that up in a second. All right, literally the majority of the high-ups in the Secretary of Commerce office, supposedly, committed suicide. Or had gruesome deaths. And they all had information on the Clintons, and a lot of them publicly came out saying that they were going to release that information. And they all just managed to commit suicide or just wind up dead. You got Jack Parks, head of the gubernatorial security team. He was gunned down in his car after building a massive case and testimony to reveal information on the Clintons, according to his son. You got Mary Mahoney, White House intern, murdered in a coffee shop after announcing that she was going to go public with a testimony against sexual harassment that happened to her in the White House by Bill Clinton. You got Kevin Ives and Don Henry. In the late 80s, they had information on the Clintons related to drug trafficking, fell asleep on railroad tracks, and got ran over by a train. And then there's 6 people who personally had evidence on the Ives and Henry case. They all died mysterious and extremely gruesome deaths too, or were suicided. I mean, one guy was stabbed 113 times, and another person had their head completely decapitated. So, Maxwell, not off scot-free. If she publicly comes out saying she has information that she's going to reveal, she's going to be the next statistic to get suicided. It's just crazy when you actually start digging into the Clintons and all the deaths related to them. I mean, 12 bodyguards mysteriously died or committed suicide over the past 30 years. And really all the high-ups in the Clinton security team, if you're going to look at it. Also, the majority of fundraiser officials and people in the Clinton Foundation, all the high-ups there too throughout the years, mysterious deaths or suicided. And then they have multiple people that have died in plane crash-related deaths that are in the whole Clinton Deadpool body count scandal thing throughout the past 30 years. And what's amazing about that is that there's a 1 in 11 million chance that you're going to die in a plane crash. And it hasn't only happened once or twice. I mean, this has happened multiple times with people who had information on the Clintons just miraculously die in these crazy plane crashes. That's not a coincidence. None of this is a coincidence. Oh, hey, almost totally forgot I was doing this little extra segment video right here. But figured I'd just pop in and let you know that there's been so many more deaths related to the Clintons that I don't even have enough time to go over all of them in this video. I was just throwing out a few examples of people who have been mysteriously killed or suicided who had some deep evidence on the Clintons. This is the biggest thing today. I mean, we'll have to see what happens in the upcoming weeks on what actually comes from this. If Maxwell decides she's going to testify with information that she has, if she does decide to do that, she's definitely signing her death certificate. I mean, aside from that, today, my web development team is making some massive moves right now. They're working fast. They got me some website designs today sent over. Website looks awesome. I'll put one up right here. And just keep in mind, this is a rough wireframe. It's not complete by any means, but it's at least a start. They're starting to get the wireframe and the design and some functionalities on the website done. It's looking like it's probably going to be closer to the 2 weeks mark before we can get this thing actually completed and get it launched. Maybe about 3 weeks before it all gets out there when I do the back end work to it. But yeah, aside from that, I don't got anything else crazy to say about the auto industry because there's really not a lot going on right now. You got the coronavirus pandemic handcuffing not only the auto industry, but pretty much every industry out there. Everybody's losing a lot of money and there's not a lot happening. I mean, when you look at the news, there's only 2 things that you see anymore. Coronavirus-related stuff, and then you have the police brutality-related news out there, so there's really not a whole lot to go off of here. Coronavirus, yet still spiraling out of control. Lots of new cases. I think in Florida alone yesterday, there was 10,000 new cases reported. So I just wanted to get on here and say something about Ghislaine Maxwell being arrested this morning, because that could potentially be a huge thing on revealing not only information on like the Clintons, but information on all sorts of massive public figures. So we'll just have to see what happens over the next couple weeks.